They're yellow leather.
Yeah, we appear to be good. And with that, hello! Welcome to Dark Mushroom Media Cast 44? We're getting up there. I'm Tim, and with me is Jose, even though he has Palmer's stuffs under his name, but I don't have the correct layout apparently, but we're just gonna deal and move on. So we did our big E3 blowout bullshit.
How'd that go?
Oh, yeah,
I know
weren't
you
here for
don't
that.
watch E3, you don't care for E3.
There were like 3 games I actually gave a shit about that I was able to ramble on about for a while. Biggest being Titanfall and Halo Wars 2. And Titanfall 2. But yeah, Palmer, many things Palmer was excited for. There's this pirate game where you can get it's kind of like a Mountain Blade pirate game look like, but you get hammered a lot more, if that makes sense.
Are you talking about that Rare game?
Maybe? I don't know if it's Rare that's doing it.
Oh.
But anyway, that's last week, and this is this week. And we have mostly just game updates for you. A lot of them kind of big. So we're just going to hop right into it, and I think we should start off with Depth, as it's actually something me and Jose have been playing a little bit lately. Now,
That's
Jose,
true.
you are a renowned Depth fan. I pick it up once every few months, but you, sir, you try to get me to play
Yeah,
that.
you suck ass.
Oh, sir.
Come at me, bro.
But they added a couple new community maps, and I think a few new items. But the big thing was they added Steam Market integration and item drops and all that stuff. Something like Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
Dota, if
That-
you're not familiar.
Yeah, that made the game way more exciting.
It did? Well, yeah, I mean...
And a little more accessible to new
Yeah,
players.
and it's nice. The drops have actually been pretty good. I've played maybe half a dozen games with you, and I've gotten a couple, so I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, this type of thing definitely breathes a bit of life into a game. Granted, this should have happened. Well, that should not have. It's not that it should have happened, but it would have been better if it happened about a year ago when, Depth had more than 100 people playing it. But I will say this, it definitely shot up the player base, because when I was playing with you, we found a match almost instantaneously, as opposed to sitting around for like 2 minutes like we usually do.
There are 348 people playing
That's
right now.
That's at least double what they were doing before the update came
Yep.
out. So yeah,
Good for them.
good for them indeed.
They can always keep it fresh. That's what I like about these assholes.
Yeah, they can just add new sharks, or they've been. I mean, when we first got the game, there were like 6 levels, and now there's over 12, I think.
Mhm.
So yeah, they've been pretty good with putting out updates over time and keeping it fun, and they've added a couple new modes. So yeah, you're right. They do a good job of that. But yeah, it's actually got me playing Depth again, so I'm pretty happy about that. And have you gotten any elite awesome drops yet? Because so far I've gotten like 3-cent items, and it makes me cry. I think you said you got a halfway
Yeah.
decent one.
I got an albino thresher shark skin.
Oh, you actually got a
Wait,
shark
waist
skin.
for them. Yeah. It was when I checked a couple of days ago, it was like 6 something
Nice.
in the marketplace. So it's just gonna lose value as it
Absolutely.
dies
You should have sold it and used that
unused
for Steam sale.
inventory.
Is it a shark you actually use at least?
I don't use sharks. So
I've seen you play sharks a couple times.
that profile says like I played like 10 games as a shark.
You just don't remember you blacked out in a primal rage.
That's what it says. I mean, it's who am I to deny like the robots that chart all this shit? But I don't remember ever playing a shark. Game says I did. You say I did.
Apparently,
I'm crazy.
I know because I like the hammerhead. I've played maybe half a dozen games with the shark, but I like the hammerhead because you just smash into things to heal, even though it's not very efficient.
Yeah. Those are some scary ass sharks, especially with elite players behind them.
Yes.
Which was another awesome thing. I love it when these sales or free weekends or whatever pop up because like total scrub noobs play and you
Yes.
get to feel good.
It's
for
very
the
different
game.
from the like grizzled veterans that have been playing it for like the past couple of years at this point.
Yeah, if you hop on Depth now, and I'm sure in the next couple months as the community like dies off a little more, you're gonna get to know these shark players by name, like by profile. Like
Will they
have
haunt your
a
dreams?
profile. They do have a bit of rep.
Rippity rep.
So
But yeah, Depth, new update, pretty fun. People are playing it again. It's doubled the player base apparently, so yes, good stuff. Keeping an eye on that in the future as we have for the past at least year now. At least. Other game we're pretty familiar with, Killing Floor, put out another update in addition to the giant one they put out, which completely fucked... I wouldn't say it fucked the game up, but it kind of fucked the game up. They tweaked a lot of the resistances and stuff, and it just kind of fucked everything up. But they didn't completely revert it to like the way it was, but they kind of fine-tuned it to the point where I'm pretty happy with where it's at now. It does kind of promote teamwork and picking different classes and synergizing with one another, but it's not so brutal where if you just jump into the game with a bunch of randos, you're automatically going to lose. So I'm pretty happy with the medium it's reached.
Was this update up when we last played?
I think we've played it like in between the like 3 that went out. So I'm pretty sure you've played all of them at this point.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure didn't even notice?
One thing I did notice is I had a higher win rate on the hard difficulty than I have before. I don't know if that's because of better balancing or whatever, but that's the only thing I noticed, and I didn't really know any patches had been added.
The boss got a lot easier, and then they kind of tweaked it a little. I don't think I've played it on normal since the latest patch went out. I've mostly been playing it on hard because I have a higher level character. But there was a huge difference between the boss on normal. On easy, or on normal, which is basically easy, you could just surround him and melt him inside of 10 seconds. And on hard, it's actually fucking hard. Like, he can two-shot you. And in some instances, when he's low on health and does his, like, Kamehameha attack, he can absolutely just one-shot you at full health and armor. And it's
are you talking about the Patriarch?
Yeah. Either of them, the crazy Nazi scientist or the great big fat person, they will just completely Shrek you. So you got to be real careful about where you are and hitboxes and whatnot. But it's fun. It's quite fun. And the community was pretty annoyed when the patch first went out, obviously, because Resistance has kind of fucked everything up. But I think now it's gotten to a point where they're all kind of simmered down and back to enjoying the game, which they should be because it's fucking Killing Floor and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But we've been playing. I've been playing with actually a few different people, mostly custom servers. I think, did we play on the Mario Waterworld one?
I never
played
that one. You guys always bragged about it, though.
It's literally the Mario 64 castle, the outside of it. And that's just the whole level. And if you go underwater, the gravity's different, and it's hilarious. But yeah, just the modding community for that, map-wise. I haven't even messed around with a lot of the gun skins and characters and stuff, but just the maps. It's gotten pretty nuts. Like, if you get on some custom modded servers, there are dozens of maps to choose from. And each one sounds more ridiculous than the next. So that's coming along quite nicely, considering it's still in early access. I wasn't expecting to see that many maps of that, and some of them are really good quality till full release. But
how long has the game been out? Like in early access?
April 2015, so 15 months around there, I want to say.
I'd say that's definitely on the right path. Almost when they added the workshop stuff, or maybe just when we started seeing modded servers on the browser, every new map was essentially just a block, like just a square with ramps. And it's super cool that it's getting to the level of
Although, to be fair, some are still like that.
The majority are, but, you know, there's...
I don't know about the majority anymore. There's definitely a lot of high-quality maps. But some people like just the simple, like, Doom maps or the simple fucking, you're in a square box, try to survive maps. Sometimes they're fun.
But a lot of those, it's fine. I mean, they definitely serve a purpose. If it's easier to kill things in, like, a predictable spot, you know, it's quick to, like, increase XP and stuff.
Right.
But multi-tiered, fucking crazy, like, monster spawner, like, those maps are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess... to your point from earlier, I guess you can't really experience that if you have like a low-level character.
Yeah, a lot of servers in general tend to be on the higher difficulties, even just hard. Yeah. And the same goes for modded servers as well, with modded maps and whatnot. It's very nice, though. I don't know if you remember in the first Killing Floor. I kind of thought about it the other day. In the first Killing Floor, you could join like 90% of the modded maps and stuff, your progress wouldn't track with the main game. And then if you backed out and then played like normal maps or the normal game mode with other people, it wouldn't level you up. Like, you would have to actually exit out of the game and then get back in order to like progress your character further. And in Killing Floor 2, it's the exact opposite, where 90% of the time, even on custom maps, you get to level your character and stuff. You don't have to back out of the game otherwise. And that is just, it's wonderful. It was obviously something that could have, you know, tweaked a little and fixed in the first game, but it's just little things like that actually make me keep playing Killing Floor 2 instead of Killing Floor 1. Little things like that.
Yeah. Well, that's a huge thing, actually. I think I only had one character in Killing Floor 1 that I got, like, over level 10. You know, it was just so fucking tedious to, like, level up.
Yeah, and then
You had to, like, main.
Exiting the game, it was just such a pain in the ass.
That must have been before my time.
The before
on
time?
Killing Floor. The before time.
I'm sure was that or Mountain Blade, the game I bought you to get on Steam. I can't remember which one. It might have been Killing Floor, actually. I think it was Killing Floor.
It might have been.
You weren't that far behind me. But anyway, Killing Floor 2 progressing, and update, fix their last update, basically. Happiness all around. Let's just knock off some quick things. BioShock is getting some remasters in the form of BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and the DLC for BioShock 2 Mariva's Den. The way this is going to work for PC players, basically if you own a copy on Steam, you get the remaster. So, huzzah.
I didn't take advantage of that summer sale.
I told you. Well, the one I'm really looking forward to the most is BioShock 1. I liked BioShock 2, but I thought the DLC campaign was better than the base campaign. That's not to say the base campaign was bad. I just liked the DLC campaign. It was had a bit more soul to it. But BioShock 1, I still think is the best of the series. So getting a remaster for that, I'm very happy about. Which ones did you prefer?
One. Definitely. I own Infinite. Never played it. I played a little bit of BioShock 2. I remember being really excited, buying it at GameStop. Used, getting it real cheap. Got home, started playing, and I was like, this isn't hooking me as much as the first one did. I don't know what it was about it.
It's little things. The one cool thing about BioShock 2 is that it had multiplayer, but apparently in the remasters that is not going to be a thing, so yeah. But
I don't even remember what the hell the multiplayer was.
Just run around with goofy characters killing one another in weird game modes, basically. And there was these weird trials where you would follow a Big Daddy or you were a Big Daddy or some shit. I think the trials are coming back in the remaster. But the big news is BioShock 1 is getting a remaster, so I'm happy about that. And I'm pretty sure there'll be a point for you to pick it up before it comes out, because it's not due out till November, I believe. But yeah, that's a thing. Amidst all the goddamn remasters we're getting this year, that's one I'm actually looking forward to. More so than others, because BioShock.
Yeah.
While we're on the remaster train, we might as well bring up one game that me and you dumped a lot of hours into. Me, you, and Daniel, I remember. Marvel Ultimate Alliance is likely coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Not actually confirmed as of yet, but it's looking pretty likely, and it's very, very, very exciting. Because, fuck those. It was just a simple beat-em-up that came out in 2006, 2007, and it was tons of fun.
Yeah.
Replayed that, played through that God knows how many times. The second one was good, it looked better. I think it might have even played a little bit better, but the first one was just so weird. You were just hopping around in different dimensions, depending on who the fuck you were battling or who the end level boss was, and that just didn't really transfer over to the second one. So I'm really happy to get the first one remastered, and I will absolutely pay whatever fucking price. I will throw money at them to make that happen. So, and I'm pretty sure you're in the same boat.
Absolutely. That was, I think, of all my 360 games, I must have sunk the most time in Ultimate Alliance.
Both did.
And I think, I wonder if they remaster the second one, if they'll add the Hulk DLC. Do you remember that weird bullshit?
Yeah, there were a couple of them, weren't there? There was Magneto and
yeah. Oh, and Sabretooth.
Yeah, there was I think there was 5 of them. It was a DLC. I'd imagine if they're remastering it, they'll incorporate that in. That tends to be the way the remasters work nowadays.
I remember it was someone else owned the license to those specific characters, another developer, right?
Yeah, and then they took it off the marketplace after they were after this date you will not be able to buy the DLC, so we had to be oh god, we got to throw money at them to get the DLC before they took it off.
Which I never did. So this will be my god, my redemption song.
Exactly, you'll be able to redeem yourself. BioShock series are on my 10-year list of games maybe I'll play after Fallout 3. You should definitely play BioShock, but you should definitely play Fallout 3. It's might be my favorite game of all time, personally, because DC and Fallout, and it was beautiful. Beautiful. Get the Game of the Year edition, though. Lots of content you can play. Mr. Mojo Hippie. Talking to chat, Jose, in case you won't get a little lost. Speaking of console goodness, it came out...
Here's on my 10-year list of games. The hell does that even mean?
I'm assuming that means games he wants to play through.
Oh.
I'm assuming, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm level 2 in Fallout 3. Yeah, you got a way to go, bud. Moving on, though. Red Dead Redemption is coming to backwards compatibility for the Xbox One this Friday. It was the third most wanted game. Like Microsoft has a list of all the games that people can vote on, kind of like how GOG does it for games that have backwards compatibility. Red Dead Redemption has been among the top 3 for quite some time, and Rockstar is finally getting around to it.
Would you happen to know what the first one is? Most requested?
It's either, I think it might be Grand Theft Auto or Halo 3. No, Halo 3 is already backwards compatible. I don't know. It's constantly changing because they're actually bringing these games in, so it's constantly changing. But I'm pretty sure it's like a Grand Theft Auto or a Halo game among one of those. But we played a good amount of Red Dead Redemption, and it's actually on sale now. But we both just realized we both have the disc for, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to jumping back into that and having Jose tell me I'm a dead man and me telling him I'm a dead man and just going back and forth and back and forth. But the game is really cool. Like it just had it had really cool co-op missions. It had like those weird fort modes you could play. It had the zombie mode. It had a lot going for it. It'd be nice to get a PC port, but I'll take backwards compatibility where I can actually play it. I just hope the port is not fucked up like Halo Reach. If that is the case, I will lose my fucking mind. I'm still waiting on Halo Reach to get fixed, and they're not fucking fixing it. So, fuck.
Wait, is that official? Or is it you saying that in anger?
What, Halo Reach?
Like, did they say they weren't going to...
No, they haven't said anything. They put out a patch... Oh. They put out, like, 2 patches, and instead of getting, like, 15 frames a second, you got 17. And it's like, no, this is not good enough. You fucking fix this, goddamn you. And they still haven't. So, I'm waiting on that. But Red Dead is something I'm really looking forward to. And, yes, we'll play. And I'm going to get you to play it. I don't care what the fuck I don't care if I got to, like, kick your ass to some storage bin in, like, North Dakota somewhere. I don't know where the fuck that disc is. You're going to find it. You're going to play it with me because I want to play fucking Red Dead Redemption, Jose. We could probably get Palmer in on it, too, because he really liked that as well.
Didn't we used to play with your old, like, gaming crew? Or I guess your current still gaming crew? Is that one of the games that was in rotation?
Yeah, I've probably, with, like, some old GameStop buddies, I'd imagine.
I bet we've got a decent...
We could probably throw together a few people.
Sasquatch missions.
Sam Squanches. Oh, and those fucking bears. Oh, man, I'm looking forward
Fuck those bears, the mountain lions.
The mountain lions,
Those are the worst. Do you remember... I still have, like, this really fond memory, like, years ago. It was, like, 4 in the morning. We just both happened to be on Xbox. And, hey, let's pop on, Red Dead. And we were just, like, on foot, traversing, like, the mountain region where, like, mountain lions lived. And we'd get killed. We would respawn, like, feet away, only to get killed again. So it was, like, a race to get off the mountain.
Vaguely, yeah.
I think I was straight laughing for, like, an hour. Like, my stomach hurt, dry mouth.
It gave you an ulcer that would come back to haunt you years later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was a great game.
Yeah,
a lot of games have given me that.
Giving you ulcers.
Stuff, yeah.
Just that and Perfect Dark off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah. That's another one. That one was backwards compatible, like, right away, right?
Mm-hmm. For some fucking reason, yeah.
First party, right? Probably.
Yeah, well, it was like one of their launch titles, so I guess it makes sense to launch backwards compatibility with it. Mojo Hippie says, yeah, I play one online game on my day off and an offline game after work. I have this list of games going back to 96? Yep, 96. Whenever your Grim Fandango came out. Wow, that is going pretty far back. And some For the Win guy says, I think newborn babies are ugly. Do you concur? Yes, they're fucking little monsters. Little fucking monsters.
Except my nephew.
Except Jose's nephew. He's just
he's
a bastion of...
aesthetically good-looking
He's
baby. He doesn't look like an old
Aztec
old
warrior reborn into a baby.
There you go.
Exactly.
Incan
Excuse me.
Incan sun god.
You're claiming to be
Slash,
related to a sun god, is what you're going with. But one last note on the backwards compatibility nonsense. Apparently, once the information got out on Red Dead becoming backwards compatible, sales jumped up 6,000%, according to many different websites, which makes sense. And I think this is a good thing because it'll show developers, hey, if you actually take the however much effort and time it is to make your game backwards compatible, you will rake in a little bit of cash because people may have lost their discs, they may have, their disc may be fucked, they may have sold their disc, they may not have your game anymore and will buy it again from the store digitally because it's kind of it's not a hassle, but it's a lot easier just to get digital downloads and play it on backwards compatibility than popping your disc in and keeping it in, especially when you have, Xbox One games you want to play. But yeah, just quick little side note, sales jumped up way the fuck, and hopefully other developers will pay attention to this and make their games backwards compatible.
Wonder what the GameStop numbers were.
I imagine
I'm sure
they jumped up a bit too.
More than half the people went and bought a used, cheaper version.
From what I was reading on the interwebs, it seems nowadays most people just do it through Amazon. Because you can, you can probably just get the Game of the Year edition. Because Red Dead did release a Game of the Year edition, so yeah. I think Amazon is the way a lot of people go nowadays, because, fuck GameStop.
Well, I mean, a lot of younger kids don't have, credit cards they can use online.
That is
or
true.
Or even PayPal accounts.
That is true. So they just steal their parents' money and go to GameStop? Is that what you're implying? Thieving little ugly baby bastards. What else? System Shock. The original System Shock. Not System Shock 2, which everyone is familiar with. System Shock 1.
Keep mistaking that game with Marathon. So I was really excited when you told me about this Kickstarter.
And then you found out it wasn't.
But I wasn't Marathon.
And now you just don't give a shit?
No, it was cool. I don't think I have any fond memories of System Shock.
It is a pretty old one. I never actually played the first one. I played the second one. First one was very Doom-esque in its look. It's very dated now, but it's getting a complete overhaul. Apparently, they set up a Kickstarter. It's about to hit its goal of close to 1 million, and it's still got a couple weeks left, so it'll hit that no problem. But yeah, it's just they're rebuilding the game from the ground up apparently, and it looks like they want to keep everything intact, like all the audio files and stuff, just touch them up a bit, kind of like what the Halo remasters did. And I think that's the way to do it. Right now it's slated for December 2017. At least that's when it's saying Kickstarter backers will get their actual game. So, yeah, I'm probably going to end up kickstarting this just because System Shock. But regardless, it's clear people want this, and it's going to happen. So that is a thing. It's very rare.
Get past the fucking video on the front page.
What was wrong with the video, Jose? Explain yourself.
Cheesy.
Cheesy.
I couldn't stomach it. Maybe on principle, I might throw a few shekels.
I didn't even watch the video. I scrolled through, saw System Shock, and was like, "Ooh, I should back this." But yeah, those for very unfamiliar. It's
Formed Consumer Act.
System Shock was kind of like BioShock-esque before BioShock was a thing. That's the closest popular game I can think to compare it to. Very atmospheric, very dark, very creepy. Except there's a robot lady AI trying to kill you instead of crazy underwater people. But principle's the same. But yes, System Shock Kickstarter happening. Still don't know if I'm backing or not, but it looks pretty cool.
You've backed shittier endeavors.
I've only backed a few things on Kickstarter. Fable Fortunes, which was canceled. A really dumb Final Fantasy VII kawaii tit-and-ass card game, which, I mean, come on. How do you not want that? And Labyrinth, which is like a deck builder
remake
slash... No, it's like a... It's
back the shit out of that.
It's a card game, but it's also like a dungeon builder. Like you build decks, but you build decks for raiding other people's dungeons, and then you build a deck of your own dungeon. You run around raiding other players' dungeons. It's like PvP, but it's not. It's a really interesting concept, but it's been
mobile game, the board game.
No, yeah, well, kind of. It's starting to come together. It's starting to come together. It's supposed to be due out, I think, this fall, so we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, it's about $10 if it's shit, and if it's not, I'm happy. So there's that. Chivalry got an update. putting in weapons from their new game, Arcane Warfare, into Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Just a sword, but a couple balance patches came with some balance stuff and a few other things. It's kind of nice that they're still throwing shit into Chivalry. I don't know how much that's going to keep up when Arcane Warfare comes out. I imagine not as much. But honestly, the past couple years, Chivalry updates have basically just been like a map here or there and community content thrown in to support community modders. Which I'm okay with, considering Chivalry came out over 4 years ago at this point, so...
Mm-hmm. That's right. I think one of their big updates was essentially just adding like community-made microtransactions, which no one seemed to have an issue with.
No?
Which was, yeah, so I guess a lot of people respect these developers. Must. I'm assuming they didn't get the shit that that shitty game... Payday? Pay off.
Well, no, the community-made stuff's actually community-made, and the money actually goes to the modders. What fucking game did that? Some game... Killing Floor. Killing Floor 1 did that really well, where they would sell DLC packs that were community-made and just gave the money to people who actually made it. And in some instances, I think they didn't even keep any of it. So that's kind of like what Chivalry's doing, although I'm pretty sure they take a cut. But, I mean, some of the weapons look cool. It's like, you know, pay a couple bucks for a cool-looking sword. It's not like pay $14.99 for a set of armor and shit like that, so... And a lot of them look really cool. And they're completely not needed. They're all cosmetic, and there's plenty of cosmetic shit you can get in that game for free just by buying other games or joining certain groups or yada yada yada. So I think Chivalry does do it right. A lot of people were mad about the whole Rafflecopter, helicopter attack swings that never really got fixed. A lot of people really angry about that, but...
That eventually became part of the game.
Yeah, you just learn to live with it. This is one of those fun little quirks. Is Red Dead Redemption like Fallout 3, and is it available on PC? Red Dead Redemption is much closer to something like Grand Theft Auto than Fallout 3. It's a big open-world game, not available on PC, which is why it's such a big deal that's coming to backwards compatibility. Rockstar, if I remember right, I think me and Palmer talked about this a couple casts ago, Rockstar came out last year at some point and said if in order for them to put Red Dead Redemption out on the PC, they would have to rebuild it from the ground up. Maybe if they did a remaster, but I think it's much more likely a new Red Dead Redemption game than Red Dead Redemption coming out. Mr. Mojo Hippie, sir. But yeah, it's unfortunate because it's actually really good. It's a really good Western setting open world game. And it's had co-op, it had zombies, it had all sorts of shit. It was wonderful. But they might do a remaster in the future, or you might just have to wait on the next game. But Rockstar, the developers, know that people want it on PC, so they know there's a demand for it, so I imagine at some point or another we'll see a remaster or a new game. To answer your question, good sir. What else we got? Anything you want to delve into, you've been playing lately or anything like that, before we get into some Halo 5 nonsense? And then we still have Orion.
Oh. No. That summer sale just ended. Anything interesting you picked up?
And the Steam Summer Sale?
Yeah.
I think I bought 2 things. It should give you a fair estimation of what my thoughts on the Steam Summer Sale.
No. You are butthurt that they got rid of the whole, like, gaming aspect to it, right? Or, like the
flash sales and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that they got rid of the flash sales, it's that the prices on those flash sales do not match what they would have up for the duration of the sale 90% of the time. There were a few games that were really cool. Maybe some were a little older, maybe some were a bit indie that had really amazing discounts, but either A, they've been in bundles, or B, I already have them received. Yeah, I couldn't get terribly excited. I will say I found a game I didn't know existed called Rebel Galaxy. And it's a space game with some roguelike elements. It's kind of like Firefly the game, or like Han Solo the game, just, you know, space bounty entrepreneur captain guy the game, where you're in a ship and then you bounce around the galaxy, you can mine, you can fight, you can trade, you can do all sorts of shit. And it's all on it's 3D, but it's on like a 2D plane. Like you can move your ship around, but you can't go up or down. Really interesting. Really, yeah, I haven't delved into that too much. I've only put a few hours into it, but that seems like something I'll be sinking a lot of time into.
When was it made?
It came out last year, like last October.
Oh, so it's not like an old PC game.
No, just some little indie game that managed to
That's
escape
cool.
me. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I've already gotten punished heavily for just, thinking I was top dog, ran around the galaxy, and I ran into like a fleet of mercenaries that just instantly liquefied me, and I lost a lot of cargo, and I haven't touched it since because I was baby raging. But I will get back to it, I assure you.
God.
Anything you picked up that worth mentioning? Aside
Not
from
really.
all the soccer games.
I have all but
Soccer
the last RPG one, which I'm not paying $17 for. What is essentially reskin and the fucking new dialogue options for like their first game. But yeah, I just picked up a shit ton of super cheap games because I just like collecting games, not necessarily playing games.
Yeah, I think you have hit that point where you buy more than you play.
This is true.
I've been there, man. So
Of course, that there's this game that came out a couple weeks ago. I guess it finally got out of like its early development and it's like full retail.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Valhalla. It's called VA-11 Paul-A.
okay.
It's that bartender, that like cyberpunk bartender game I was telling you about a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a visual novel? It looks very visual novel-esque.
Yeah, and it's got a cool like bartender drink maker mechanic in between like chunks of the story. I haven't played the full release yet. I've only played like the new demos that they've made, but it looks like it lived up to all like the awesome hype story wise. It's very much worth getting, and if it's probably a good barrier of entry into like visual novels, if you'd ever like be interested in doing that, because it like doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's got very like good storytelling in it. They like don't pussyfoot around, kind of like really adult themes, and weird psych stuff. It's a really fun game. Even the demos. Maybe I'll send you a link to some of the demos too.
Maybe.
But yeah. But what almost like put me off on this game was, you know how like I like simplifying things. The act of you giving me a free game was almost not worth it because I had to jump through, a couple of hoops. Like any of those bundle games you got. Like, hey, you might like this. Send me to like the Humble page, and then have to like, verify all that.
Yeah, they used to do. They don't do that anymore. They did that for a time.
Thank God. But yeah. So in order to buy the game or at least back the game, you had to do it through some like website for like any developers.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the day it released, I got an email saying, "Hey, your game's available to download and with a Steam key." I'm like, "Great!" So I go to the website. I'd forgotten any credentials I used for this website.
Course, you have a problem with that, sir.
So I had to like request. I got my password and all that. I tried to punch in my info. I guess because it was like their servers must have been hit real hard with just a bunch of people. That initial push of like getting the game. So I couldn't log in. I couldn't do anything. And so I had to like search my Gmail history till I found a link to my profile. So I clicked it, and like it was, I didn't need a password or anything to get into it. What the shit is going on? So I finally like did that. I had to get my Steam key, but then it had to like jumble it and send it through email. So in order to get this game in my fucking Steam library, I had to like go through like 5 different websites, each one saying that I didn't exist, until finally like it's through like dark magics I finally got it on.
Well, see, the thing is, you kind of have
me off. I haven't played it yet.
You have a knack for fucking stumbling through every one of these. There's like usually 1 or 2 hoops, and you trip over the first one and break the second one, and that's just kind of your thing. I've noticed historically. So you tend to make things much harder on yourself.
It's because
it's a sickness.
A lot of times they don't use like good English when they like, hey, just do this, this, and this. Okay, I'd follow it to a T, and it turns out no, you have to use like intuition instead of just what they like written down.
You have to roll the dice. You have to get like a 12 plus or some shit.
Punish myself for their mistakes.
Mojo
Anyway,
Hippie.
Valhalla is a great fucking game.
Valhalla, okay.
The demos and apparently the story, the full release.
Mojo Hippie's telling us that he bought a cute snow hare, and I think a pink piglet from an online store for a game you couldn't. Yeah, buying cosmetic stuff. I'm all for that. Me and Jose have done that in plenty of games throughout the years. So, like things that don't really offer you an advantage in game, just give you like a pretty hat or a pretty princess tiara. Jose's fucking nuts for those things. But yeah, that's a thing. I mean, keeps a lot of games going and keeps development from adding pay-to-win stuff. So, yeah, I tend to agree with that type of stuff. Might as well hop into Halo real quick. Christ, you haven't even played Halo 5, have you?
Or 4, I haven't played 4.
Still on sale, by the by. I think Master Chef Collection's also on sale. Grab both those.
I have not. I've been to like Best Buy a couple of times, like the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that in its physical form. Its final
digitally.
form. Does it only exist digitally?
No, you can get it on Amazon. Like I said, dude, that's where most people. But you can get it half off right now on the Xbox store. I'd take that route personally. But Warzone Firefight is officially out for Halo 5, which, if you're unfamiliar, is basically the co-op horde mode where they just throw wave after wave of shit at you. In the beta, it was very easy because respawn timers were very low, and you could just kind of swarm shit. And I think in the beta, I lost maybe 3 or 4 games out of 50. And since the game has launched, I've won maybe 3 or 4 games out of a dozen. They tweaked the respawn timer so that at the end, it's 5 waves in total, and at the end of each wave, you get 5, 10 seconds, I forget how many seconds, is tacked on basically to your respawn timer. So in the last wave, you've only got a couple lives. If you like at max, if you die at the right point, so it's gotten a lot harder. But even just the beginning waves have gotten pretty brutal. They definitely ramped up the AI difficulty, but it has made it much more fun because instead of just walking in and slaughtering the shit out of everything, you got to be kind of tactical and think ahead and call in vehicles. You got to use Rex more often, which is unfortunate because, you know, people like to hoard that shit, but they've also been throwing rec packs at people left and right. You get a gold one if you win, you get a silver one if you get like halfway through. If you get certain medals, you get one. Rec packs, Jose, if you're unfamiliar, basically like they're like weapon drops. Think of them as like weapon drops, like single-use weapon drops and shit like that.
Oh.
Tanks, alien weapons, turrets, shit like that. But it is an immense amount of fun. I don't know if I'll be streaming any on this channel, but I will definitely stream some on my channel on and off in the weeks to follow. It is immensely fun. They also added campaign scoring, like they had in Halo Reach, but I haven't actually messed around with that yet because I've just been knee-deep in Firefight. It is fun. They also added a grunt mech, Jose. A grunt mech that...
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now. The grunt goblin.
It taunts you through a speakerphone as you're battling it. It is fucking hilarious. Like, just some of the fucking insults it hurls at you through this giant speakerphone that sounds like it broke at some point in the mid-'80s. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's got a giant needler. It's got jetpacks, so it'll just suddenly jump up in the air and stomp you to shit. It is fan-fucking-tastic. I've only actually faced it a handful of times, but it's quite fun. And they also changed things up by adding what were the N-tier bosses and still are the N-tier bosses. Sometimes you'll encounter them like a wave or two early, and they'll be a little bit weaker, or you just have to burst them down really quickly, and there'll be some differentials between like the resistances and whatnot, I think.
And these are all AI.
Yeah, it's all co-op. And the great thing about this is it's 8 players instead of the 4 Reach had. So you can literally be in a tank column and then just see, like, you know, a fucking herd of ghosts or just a herd of Spartans run up beside you. So it's got a lot more of that epic feeling that Firefight, you know, is known for, but now it's, you know, doubled the player count. So it's a tremendous amount of fun. We definitely got to hop in on that shit whenever the fuck you get around to getting Halo 5. It was actually free for like a week, and then they extended it by a couple days, but I think it ends today, so yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But it is a tremendous amount.
How is that free?
They just made Halo free for if you have gold for about, I think it was a week and a half now, so. If Firefight's fun, they wanted people to get in because they knew people would buy the fucking game. Queue times have been really short because of it, so I'm happy about it.
Oh, so it's not a free update to the game.
No, it's all the updates for Halo are free.
Then what?
Halo, the game itself, has been free for a week and a half because of Firefight.
Gotcha.
That is over now. Go buy Halo, you fuck. Well, I guess the last thing we can get into, Jose, is the thing we're so excited about. So very, very excited. And that being the shitstorm surrounding Orion, which is now just Orion, apparently. We've streamed it a couple times on this channel. Orion is a very...
shitload of times.
Yeah, we have.
That's like our go-to.
It is our go-to.
game.
Dude, it's the best. It's a funky, fresh, kill dinosaur robot game in isometric third person and now first person. Tons of fun. Came out, I guess it was about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. The developers got a cease and desist, and the game was taken off Steam because it basically looked very much like some of the assets were ripped straight out of Black Ops 3. It looks like that was the case. I was looking at both sides of the thing. Kind of look. I mean, it looked like a lot of the development stuff for this. They were posting pictures going back to 2014, which is before Black Ops 3 even, a year and a half so before Black Ops even came out. They had pictures of the stuff, but it wasn't exactly like it. So it could have been either way. But then it basically, after an internet shitstorm, and I mean, it was a shitstorm. It wasn't just who gives a fuck game and who gives a fuck people bitching about it. Videos were popping up on YouTube and shit. Just like, I mean, basically who gives a fuck gaming people, but gaming people that have a following, unlike us, were actually doing videos on it and shit. And it was very hilarious to see, because I do love Orion, but you got to also have fun with it too, because it's just so fucking goofy. But basically, it came out that all these assets traced back to some Russian dude who was using an alias, who used to work on Orion Prelude, which was their previous Tech Industries' previous game. So basically, guy used to work on these games, got fired or laid off or whatever, and then came back with some stolen assets, but they weren't actually sure if it was the actual same guy or just someone using an alias of his alias. It's a whole fucking Inception thing. Basically, some Russian dude fucked over these developers.
Sounds a little too convenient.
In the and all this shit, and as it was happening, the developers started to baby rage, I guess. David Prazel is the guy's name. He's actually a good guy. He's a good developer. He's all right in my book. But he kind of baby raged a little bit, to the point where he was banned on his own game forums on Steam, which, I mean, how can you not find that funny? It's just fucking funny. It's just funny. But a day or two later, everything rolled around. He's back on his own game forums, and he's saying, look, this game's back up on the Steam store. We've taken out all the assets. We're going to rebuild them from the ground up, yada, 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 and make sure this doesn't happen in the future. And here's a new social hub, which is kind of cool, because we only had the moon base. Now we have like a forest-based thing. And with the announcement that the game was going free-to-play as soon as possible. This made the fan base confused and annoyed, because why? Then after a few more days go by, he announces, alright, the game's going to go free-to-play, but it's going to go free-to-play in late August. And if you have a copy of the game now or beforehand, you get some bullshit benefits. Not founder status like me and Jose with our Big Dick Swag founder status, but you get, instead of getting a stupid helmet, you get a full set of stupid armor and shit like that. I'm still kind of torn between the game going free-to-play. I think the game only costs $1. On sale, it's 50 cents. You can build up a decent player base like that. You can actually get revenue in. But he seems pretty insistent on the game going free-to-play. I don't think it needs to do that, and I don't really want it to do that, because that opens up floodgates for hackers and shit, which is, I mean, yeah, the game's only $1, but still, you'd be amazed how much that stops shit like that. But what do you think on the game going free to play?
Not a whole lot, honestly. Like,
I can see you're just so invested in this.
the thing is, like, yeah, it'll give like a boost to the game, but when you start the game, you're thrown in a lobby that has at most like 10 people, and you play with like random anonymous people who may or may not be hacking, but like the games are so short and sweet and innocuous, essentially. Like, this game is, I don't even know what you would describe it as. It's like bland water. Like, it's like there's nothing you to gain.
Pure, unfiltered, bland water.
There's like nothing. I don't know what it is about this game. It's just maybe because you can casually play the game and not like in like an easy way. It's just a game you can not care about but still have fun playing.
Right.
I can't see how opening that to potential hackers or like a bigger community would change any of that because it still seems. Well, they had some pretty ambitious things. Like they wanted to make.
Yeah, the thing is, when it goes free to play, it's going to be. I think it's the mech update is when they're launched. That's when they're putting it free to play. Is when but they're planning on doing starships and like frigates and shit. Like they're.
I guess
Star Citizen. Watch out!
When it goes Star Citizen levels, maybe
it's headed in that direction. And like you said, it's just It's a fun game, but it's a very stupid game. You shoot dinosaurs and robots from a multitude of angles. And it's just brainless fun. But they're planning on adding all this shit to it, and it's slowly coming together. And by slowly, I mean way faster than Star Citizen. So, it's got that going for it.
We know why, of course, because they're
just stealing assets left and right.
Just fucking steal.
It'd be great if the development just came to a halt because he had to rebuild all these assets and stuff. And instead of getting like 3 updates a month, now we're down to like 1 a year. That'd be beautiful, poetic even.
Like the Forest, we hopped on that last week.
Well, the Forest has like 4 people behind it. That's also part of the reason why it's going so slow.
I always assumed Orion only had 4 people behind it.
I think it's actually got a small company, like they have offices and whatnot. I believe. Could be wrong.
Scam. A big Russian scam.
Well, it's a lot of outsourcing because Russian scammers. So that's he outsources a lot of stuff, which is why. It's like what Star Citizen does, but smaller. But
I always thought that was in-house. Everything Star Citizen.
Well, it is, but they just have houses in Texas, California, Sweden, fucking UK. They've been every goddamn where, Germany. And we might be doing a Star Citizen thing relatively soon because we actually got back into that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and bring this to a close. Final thoughts on Orion before we close up, Jose.
It would have been amusing if the game crashed and burned, disappeared.
But don't you still love it, Jose? Don't you still want to play it?
Absolutely.
All day.
I will defend this game.
They've been popping out those classes, man. And they added guns. They added weapon slots now, so your character can have 2 different loadouts and shit like that. Like it's
nice. I think that's something that game definitely.
Yes, it was nice to have a sniper loadout for the recon class. That was kind of weird.
They've made great decisions. Like the development is good and fast. Everything about it is great, but it's definitely never going to be in like my top 50 games. Like it's
just so close, but so far.
It's a great game. I can't recommend it enough, though.
All right. Well, that brings us to a close. We thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around with us, Mojo Hippie. We hope to see you again.
Fun.
And next week we're doing a video game stream, which will probably just be Killing Floor or Depth. Actually, maybe Depth if you're around. I could go for some Depth.
Absolutely be Orion, because we're going to forget for like the last minute. Be like, hey, Orion's fine.
Oriion's fine, yeah. We'll probably just do fucking Orion. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, and check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitch, all that, Steam gifts, fucking Facebook, fucking Twitter. We're fucking everywhere.
You want to pimp your Steam gifts?
No, don't need to.
No?
SteamGifts.com. Look for Dark Mushroom Media. We've given away over $1,500 worth of games now. So come check that out.
Our cup runneth over.
All right, Mojo Hippie, take it easy.
Peace.
Yeah, I should probably say we're out. I never actually said we're out. We're leaving now, Jose. So now you say peace.
Too late.
That moment's gone.
Gone forever.
Moment's gone. Take care, people.